Hello, I'm Joshikins, and welcome to another episode of Animorphs Mania, the little vlog series where I just talk about any random Animorphs subject. If you want to hear longer videos on Animorphs, if you go over to my channel, Josh Talks, I have a podcast series called With Extra Happy. Currently, we're on hiatus, and keep on the lookout for when season 3 is going to start. But anyways, for today, I'm going to be talking about the 2-hour limit. Forewarning, I do spoilers in this because it's an old series. Anyways, for those of you who are watching this vlog because it just happens to be on my channel and aren't too familiar with the Animorphs series in general, again, spoilers for an old series. The 2-hour limit is the morphing limit. When Alfangor first gives the kids, the Animorphs, the first 5, their morphing abilities, he can't really give them all this information at once. I mean, throughout the series, and I'll probably talk about it on them in different episodes of Animorphs Mania. He couldn't really explain all of that, so he said, there's one thing you should know. You can only stay in a morph for 2 hours, or else you're in that morph permanently. It's something that Tobias found out by the end of the first book, and it wasn't until the 3rd book that he got used to his new life as a hawk. Although, as I did cover in the season 2 finale of With Extra Happy, Me and Cat, he probably got himself stuck in. He trapped himself. But yeah, until Tobias regains his ability to morph in book 13, he's, finds the downsides of being trapped in morph. Yeah, and there's also Albron, who's another Nothlit. Nothlit is the word for those who are trapped in morph. Should really give Albron an episode of his own. He's awesome. Anyways, off track. The thing with the 2-hour morph limit, at least for me, is that it seems too much of a plot device. I mean, of course, with this cool morphing ability, you're going to need rules that limit our heroes from doing anything at any time. And the morphing limit really does provide the readers with a sense of dread, like, oh my god, they're nearly close to the morphing limit. Will they be trapped? How will they get out of this? Oh, look at this situation. In the Cannibal book, aka number 16, The Warning, which was supposed to be internet safety thing, since, this was a book series in the 90s, so of course there had to be a book for that. And because of the morphing limit, okay, it wasn't technically the morphing limit, it's because Jake basically got smashed out in Dragonfly Morph. But there were, god damn, I forget the book number now, but it was the Extreme, where the Animorphs are in the Arctic, long story, and, they can't spend all their time in morph. They have to demorph every now and again and just be subjected to the Arctic cold. So, it makes great sense as a plot device. I mean, it's fucking great. It's like, you're always assured that there's going to be some tension. You're going to have your heroes complete things in a certain amount of time. And the Extreme had Marco morphing into a polar bear. That's sort of how I remember Animorphs books, by covers. Like, I don't always remember the numbers or names, but always the covers. So yeah, Applegate putting the 2-hour limit there as a plot device is, you can look over it and not question anymore because they're like, oh, okay, it's a plot device. I get that. Fine, moving on. But you also can't just have a plot device be a plot device. It also has to make sense in the universe you created. So here are two things that might explain the 2-hour limit in universe. One is the connection to Z-space. Now, throughout the series, you learn how morphing works, is that when you morph, your body is transported to Z-space. Z-space is the hyperspace of the Animorphs universe, basically. And so that connection can only be maintained for a certain amount of time, and you can always have the connection in those two places, but you can't we'll refer to the body, your original body, as point A, and the morph as point B. So, as novelists have proved, the connection between point A and point B can always be maintained, but the ability to switch between point A and point B can't. That made perfect sense to me. Please say if I need to explain that in the comments. But yeah, so it could be that, point A and point B can't be transferred during a certain point, and maybe in the future Andalite scientists can figure that out. Another little possibility, I don't know if anyone has mentioned this before. One thing is we don't really know a lot about scaffold, ESCAFIL. The blue box is actually called the scaffold device after the Andalite scientists that invented it. We don't really know much about a scaffold at all. I would really have loved knowing something more about him. Because I remember at one point, I was like, I sort of want to do a fanfic about this guy, but there's nothing really to get about the actual guy himself. And so this is pure speculation. What if a scaffold was paranoid? Maybe he had really big trust issues. Maybe he saw this, a scaffold device being used for great, great evil. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to make a limit for it, just so that there's at least some way to control it. And maybe that's also why there's other morphing problems, because the scaffold wanted to create those to make sure there were times that, it couldn't be used or used at all well. I don't know. As I said, we don't really know much about a scaffold at all. So, what do you think? Do you think that the 2-hour morphing limit should just be looked at as a plot device and nothing more? Or do you think it's just a plot device and any reason to justify it are just stupid? They're fun, but stupid. Or how do you view this 2-hour limit, behind the scenes and how it makes sense in canon, such as, it's a plot device behind the scenes, but in universe, it's this or that. Please tell me what you think, your own theories about why the 2-hour limit exists. I would love to start a nerdy conversation with you. And I have been Jashikins, owner at jashikins.blogspot.com. If you go to my blog, you can see wonderful vlog reviews like this. And recently I did get the latest part of my Animorphs reread out, so woot! And if you go to my blog, the blog on the sidebar thingy, the dragon is still waiting to be named. there's a poll going on of who is your least favorite Hunger Games character. If it gets at least 10 votes on it, I will make a little vlog about the results. And if you've watched my blog for a while, if you watched my various YouTubes, and you're like, hey, I would love to financially support this person, I do writing commissions via Fiverr. So if you want some Animorphs fanfic talking about a scaffold, I'm your woman. I'm here for you. And if you don't want a writing commission from me for whatever reason, but you still want to support me, I'm Joshykins on Patreon. So, yay! So, my two benefits, perks. One is a monthly update on my ebooks, and the other is an exclusive 30-minute vlog. And both of those links can be found in the description if you're watching on the YouTubes, and on the sidebar thingy if you're watching on my blogly blog. And until next video, goodbye.